Live from the nation's capital, it's War Room Pandemic, 22 August, year of our Lord 2020, episode 348. John Fredericks Radio Network, America's Voice.news, Dish Channel 219, also Newsmax TV, and of course, GTV and G News, subtitle in Mandarin so that all of our Chinese followers can follow us, and also Chinese intelligence can get it quickly. Right, we want to make sure the guys in Beijing and the Global Times, always appreciate the Global Times guys. We think you're a group of clowns, Global Times, but we appreciate you following and we appreciate you showing us the love every day. We wouldn't feel wanted if you were not on us on a daily basis. We're here to separate the signal from the noise. Tomorrow's news today. That's what we pride ourselves in, to let you look over the hill. People are saying, "Why are you so focused on China all the time? Why is your hair on fire?" Because this is the central beating heart of the problem in the world, the Chinese Communist Party. It is the underpinning of the Party of Davos, the globalist system, this globalization of manufacturing and the world's economy that is really, I think, stripped what I call a free market capitalism from folks called workers. It's just shifted too much to a collection. This is not conspiracy theory. This is all out in broad daylight. This is how the system works. And the Chinese Communist Party is now feeling the heat. This is why 2 weeks ago we had Jack Maxey was here in the captain's chair he and Vish with Dave Ramaswamy and Jay Kantaris to really do this the National Independence Day of India, to talk about our great ally in this alliance of liberty. Today we're talking about Hong Kong and the fall of the CCP. We've brought it out because there's so much other stuff happening. The New York Times is reporting that Xi is now, as Jack Maxey said yesterday, he is very worried about feeding the Chinese people. To wit, he's got the restaurants weighing people before they come in to eat, right? I don't know if I feel too good about that. I know certain people in my life would like that to happen. No, but you see, he's taking it seriously. Jack Maxey will have more on Monday. But Jack, you called it the other day when he said, "Hey, if you look at the total that they're saying they're going to need in a couple of years, it's 30% over what the maximum capacity, I think, of the exports of the United States. So these guys, even a phase one deal can't help them."
Well, I mean, if you look at 3 weeks ago, they announced the largest grain harvest in the history of China.
Bumper crop.
We know this is a lie, right?
It's a
They're
joke.
suffering a drought in their grain-growing region. We're watching the Three Gorges Dam fill up. We're watching the Yangtze River Valley fill up. We're watching about 25 to 40% of their food supply be underwater. We know they're in big trouble. And now what was really interesting, Steve, was last Monday. I think the New York Times is a little bit behind us. I think it was about 12 days ago that he came out with this thing we spoke about. And it wasn't him who directly told the restaurants to start weighing people, but enthusiastic cadre within China started trying to shame their own customers. So they've tried to push back on this a little bit and say, hey, we're just trying to get people to be smart. But observers of China, this really reminds people of some of the messages given by Mao during the 1958-60 famine, in which he instructed the Chinese people to eat but 2 meals a day, one of them liquid, and to not eat when they were idle or not working. So this raises some sort of specter.
That was one of the great famines in
people.
Modern history. I think 40 million people. They don't still know the number. I think 40 million people brutally died in a famine caused by the Great Leap Forward and the collectivization of the farms. It was just a disaster. I want to bring in now Alice, another one of our voices, which has made this show so powerful on Saturday to actually hear from people from the mainland. One thing I want to mention about Miles, the H&A, Hong Kong, all these things, the pandemic, everything you got right. The current thing is, and this is how the Chinese Communist Party lies, we've been talking about this flood on the Yangtze now for over a month. We had Rosemary Gibson in here talking about the issue with the medical supply. This is why, for the audience, the American audience, this has a direct implication in your life. You're going to make sure you get your penicillin, all your APIs, all the actions President Trump have taken is great, but it's going to take a while for that stuff to ramp up. The PPE, I don't think, is still shifted over here, most of it. So the valley of the Yangtze is where a lot of this is, a lot of this made. I think Rosemary said 80% of the world's supply comes from the Yangtze Valley. So Miles Gross said, hey, watch Three Gorges, because what they're doing is lying to you, and they've lied and lied and lied. Now there's a crisis. And I want to bring on Alice. She's part of the whistleblower movement, part of these expatriates that support people in China. I mean, what do you think, Alice, if you had to tell the American people, what do you think the near-term threat are from the CCP, both to the Chinese people and to the world. We know that they've already let this virus get out of control. Some people think it's a biological weapon they let go. Others think it's a part of a weapons program that inadvertently got out of the lab. Nobody smart thinks it came from a cave with a bat. But what do you think are the near-term threats from the Chinese Communist Party?
Hi, Steve. Good morning. You are our hero. Chinese people love you. Right now, so definitely the man-made virus was not released inadvertently. They did it deliberately. I believe so, and Dr. Yan has proved that. So right now in Malaysia and India, they have found a mutated version of coronavirus. This strain is called DG614. It spreads from human to human 10 times faster. So we have to let CCP tell the truth of the origin of the virus. Otherwise, this virus keeps mutating. So we cannot get effective vaccine. We don't have much time left, just as Dr. Yan said. And Miles Guo has mentioned that CCP is building many PC labs within China, in many cities. And outside China, they're cooperating with, they're helping Iran, North Korea, Egypt, and other countries to build P3 labs. What are they going to do with these P3 labs? They're developing more bioweapons. If they get away with the virus this time, the whole mankind is endangered.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you for a second, Alice, because you've got a big American audience here and obviously Chinese audience, but. They had, I think, a week ago, you talk about this lab, and you're of the belief with Dr. Yan and General Spalding, Miles Guo, and others that believe, hey, this is part of a biological weapons plan. It wasn't inadvertent. They thought about this, et cetera. Okay. You just had the WHO was there, I think, 10 days ago, trying to negotiate, what was going to be their access to Wuhan, what was going to be their access to these P3 and P4 labs in mainland China. And I think they got patted on the head. Jack Maxey, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they got patted on the head and sent their way. And in fact, the guy named Ryan, who's one of their chief operating officers, said, we may never find out. This is the tell. He said after this thing, we may never find out, the silver bullet. We may never find out the actual origins, which to me is saying the WHO, which I'm so glad we pulled out of, is just a joke. They can't force their way in there. Alice, what would you say, what would be your recommendation to the American people and to the United States government, even President Trump, of what you believe America should do to get to the bottom of, and to find out, did it come from Wuhan? Was it a weapons program? Did it not come from Wuhan? What would you recommend we do about that?
That's a good question. I know when WHO visited Wuhan, they never got really the chance to see the lab. Everything else is just arranged. They want to have a good show. And for the U.S. right now, I like your idea of give them the 72 hours. If you don't do this, we have a few policies. Cut off technology, cut off financial, the Hong Kong dollar pegging to the U.S. dollars, and cut off, delist oil companies. We need to have harsh measures.
The people say, Alice, just for the American audience, people say when I talk about these things, 72 hours and, sanctions the banks, cut off the dollar, starve them out financially, that, you're just going to hurt the people in Hong Kong, right? That this is really, it's going to hurt the Lao Beijing. It's going to hurt the middle class. It's going to hurt the little guy. It's not going to hurt the dictators in CCP. What would be your response to that?
This is like doing a small surgery, right? You have a bad tumor in your body. You have to take it out. Once it's taken out, and then you can improve and then survive and thrive. Actually, Lao Beijing actually is expecting the U.S. to do this. And we Chinese are all prepared. We know how evil CCP is. But they crack down us so much. We need outside push from the U.S. and other Western countries. As long as you cut off the financial and technology support to the CCP, they're a paper tiger. And people within China can rise up to beat them up.
Now, for our audience, we always try to look over the hill, give you tomorrow's news today, right? What would you, for our audience, right, that tunes into this to find out what the status is, but the think down range, what is coming next? What should the American audience know about what do you think the next phase of the CCP's, I call it a hot war, hot information war, technology war, an economic war, maybe not a kinetic or warfighting war right now, but they're on the attack. What would you tell our audience you think is the next phase of this?
First, China has this great firewall, so people won't have access to the right information. And the firewall was built with the technology of U.S. So it's very important to cut off the tech transfer support to CCP. Don't do business with them. I really like State Pompeo's policy on these clean networks. So it's clean store, clean apps, clean app store, clean cloud, clean cable. So stop using all the CCP apps. Stop using buying their products. And the ban on Huawei was great. I think the Microsoft even came up with a warning that if the license of Windows expires, they might can discontinue the license to the CCP. That's a great way. I mean, CCP is a paper tiger. Their strength is really built on the U.S. technology.
Last question to this. You know, people are talking about, we've been not just driving to shut down TikTok. It shouldn't be sold. It should be shut down here, and we think banned in other places. But that we think even more important is WeChat. Yet American companies, I think Walmart and some of the other big companies are coming and saying, hey, we can't really do business in China unless you keep WeChat alive. WeChat's essential for our business, and that's going to affect our stock price. That's going to affect our ability to hire people, et cetera. What would you say to the American people and to American companies about WeChat and what you as a expatriate and a whistleblower think about WeChat and what should be done about it?
WeChat should be banned. It's a disinformation campaign platform. Do you know how PPE was vacuumed in all these Western countries? These CCP running dogs, they send all Chinese information on WeChat. Hey, this big outbreak of virus in China, donate your mask, donate your PPE. They send all the information on WeChat. So all Chinese are motivated, they mobilize, they buy all these and send back to China. But once the U.S., Italy, and U.S. had this virus breakout, I went back to search on the original post on WeChat. They were gone. So definitely they did it on purpose, and they did it through WeChat. And they use WeChat to brainwash a lot of Chinese. They don't get the true information. So WeChat should definitely be banned.
Alice, I want to thank you for coming. We got about 30 seconds. Go ahead.
And the Antifa attack of the White House, the Chinese consulate members, they also use WeChat to spread the news, and they definitely attended.
Wow. Alice.
WeChat is an evil platform.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Antifa on WeChat. Really appreciate that. And thank you for that, I think, very prescient analysis. Alice, another one of the heroes of this movement. They put themselves at risk to be whistleblowers. They put themselves at risk to be protesters. They put themselves at risk every day. This is the nobility and the fight and the grit of the Chinese people, Lao Beijing. They remind me of somebody, the deplorables. You guys are a combo package. Okay, we'll take a short break. Back in a moment.
War Room with Stephen K. Bannon. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Welcome back to the War Room. It's Saturday, and if it's Saturday, we're talking about world events. I want to thank everybody very much for joining us, all of our listeners. We're eventually going to get that. We're eventually going to get that song to kind of taper down. Eventually, I'm glad I'm back off the boat. I'm not really. I missed the boat, but I'm glad I'm back here. Get a little more operational control of this. Jack, our favorite tabloid in the world, Global Times, out today with a description of your partner. What does it say?
The Global Times has a description of Steve today, and this shows you how much they think he gets a non-event. You know, they always say he's a nothing, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But They came out today and they said in China, Bannon is called, quote, the living fossil of paranoid madness because his attitude towards China can no longer be described as hostility, as he is considered hysterical, even insane.
It is not to China, Global Times. You got to follow along here. Follow closely. It's CCP. China's fantastic, and the Chinese people are just the greatest. They're
Global Times channeling Barry Goldwater there, right?
Exactly. God. Global Times, you got to get on it. It's CCP. Okay? CCP. CCP is evil. They are they're the cloak of darkness, I guess, to rip off Joe Biden. I want to go to somebody in the whistleblower movement. We got Miles Guo, hopefully teed up. We're having a little trouble with the connection. We'll work it out. Yang, and also has been known as Honey Badger. She's part of the whistleblower support movement, and just absolutely fantastic. I want to go first. We've talked about, this is about Hong Kong and the death of the CCP, but we've got to bring up some breaking news in this. Obviously, we're going to have Miles in here talk about this flood in the Yangtze River. The Yangtze River Valley has a direct impact on life here in the United States. Obviously, it has a direct impact on life of the Chinese people. It's in the heart of China, in the heart of the manufacturing district. Yang, I got a question for you, ma'am. What comparison, particularly the CCP's responded, do you see between the CCP virus that came out of the Wuhan lab and what's going on at Three Gorges Dam and this flood in the Yangtze River?
Mr. Bannon, the flood and the virus both were created by the Chinese Communist Party, and they are trying every little bit to cover up this fact. The Three Gorges Dam was built up to benefit the CCP central leadership families. For example, the former Prime Minister Li Peng and his family are the direct beneficiary of the project. Back to the 90s, in order to build up the dam, it required to change the river trajectory and to flood a large scale of the land. The CCP made the mandatory order to flood more than 1,000 villages at that time. It is a completely anti-nature project. And of course, the CCP never care about the sustainability of the nature or people's lives. The only thing they care about is to maximize the central family's interest. Same to the COVID. Numerous evidence have clearly shown that it is a man-made virus from the biolab. And the purpose of making the virus is to serve the CCP's growing ambition of conquering the world. And the CCP is still telling the world that it is a natural virus from the lab. As nowadays, the 1.4 billion brainwashed Chinese people still believe that the flood is natural disaster. So, and in addition, the CCP also cover up the death toll. No one knows how many people died from COVID or the flood, because they definitely don't want people to know how incapable they are to deal with crisis. They want people to portray them as savior, as the gods. When there's crisis, our media in China only brag about how diligent the CCP working on solving the problem. Even if it's fake, it's a photo op, set up scene. It ended up that Chinese people not only have to take the pain and loss from the disaster, but absurdly hold great appreciation towards the CCP, literally saying thank you to the evil who created disasters. So this is the CCP regime, not only greedy, cold-blooded, and vicious, but an absolute expert on utilizing, propaganda machine to brainwash people. And their current target is the Western world.
So let me slow down. We've got a B-roll up that's showing this flooding is just incredible. I mean, the scale of this thing is breathtaking. But you've said something, Jack Maxey, and I guess Miles talked about it a couple of weeks ago. You're saying the entire construction of this dam system was not really done with the idea of flood control or really, maximizing the ability to make sure the river couldn't flood. You're saying the CCP families that were involved basically did this, and the CCP leadership basically did this to make money. That this whole series of dams, and Three Gorges in particular, were done to enrich themselves and not really to think about nature, and particularly not think about the Chinese people. Is that the point you're trying to make?
Absolutely. The family of the former Prime Minister Li Peng, for example, his family has been dominating the power business in China for decades. Li Peng's daughter has been sitting as the CEO of the China Power for many years. She also owns a title called the Princess of Electricity. And China Power is the largest electric power company in China. It is also a public company traded in Hong Kong stock market. And the Three Gorges Dam undoubtedly has brought tremendous fortune to Li Tong's family and other, associated families in the high-level CCP regime.
Okay, and you make it sound like this. You're absolutely convinced. Obviously, other people in China, Dr. Yan. We now have Giuseppe Trito from Italy, from UNESCO. We have other people that are absolutely convinced this came from the lab. Some people don't think the CCP let it out on purpose. Other people's do. But in the West, you don't see a cry. You see it in the whistleblower movement. You see it in the new federal state at these embassies in, from Australia to Canada to the United States, holding the CCP accountable. As a part of the whistleblower movement and someone that's at the heart of this, why do you think the West is not outraged or showing more outrage? The media, the politicians, the people are not showing more outrage to the simple concept of the CCP lied and American citizens died, or the CCP lied and Canadian citizens died, or the CCP lied and Australian citizens died. As a whistleblower, why do you think that the West is not convinced of what you guys are saying and not taking it more forcefully?
I think there are actually bad guys in the West world too. Like in the past 30 years, the CCP successfully find some partners in the West world, and they are the Lucifer worshippers, and they're in power for their own personal interests. They just made a decision gradually to cooperate with CCP to brainwash the Western world people's minds and to keep oppressing Chinese people. I think that's one of the reasons why you see it's so hard way to keep going on the road to fight the CCP.
Yang, last question. We've got Miles Guo. We're going to jump to him in a second, but last question for you. We have a big American audience here, right? And part of it grows every day, and part of it they're fascinated by what's going on in the world, and they want to help. For the international community, and particularly for our viewers and our listeners in the United States, what would you recommend they do? What can they do to assist and effectively help the Chinese people in their fight for freedom? Because only the Chinese people can free themselves. But what can the international community and what can the citizens of the United States do to help you guys?
I want to say to the world that want the world to know that CCP has been deliberately operating infiltration and encroachment for 30 years. The world nowadays is like a patient with cancer. The solution would be like chemotherapy, definitely not pleasant at all. But that's what we need to go through. We need to move manufacturers out of China to end the dependency on the CCP regime. Not only hurt the short-term interests for the West, but we have to be tough and keep going in order to exchange a long-term prosperity. No more appeasement, no more self-deception, wishful thinking on the CCP regime. And, China's market is full of potential, but unfortunately at this moment, all the resources, talents, and quality labors in China are controlled by this evil regime. As long as they are in power, you just can't do business with them. That should be the bottom line, basic ethics. Doing business with CCP is like taking heroin. It may provide some satisfaction for a short period of time, but it should be illegal because eventually it won't lead you to anywhere but destruction.
Yang, thank you so much. I got to tell you, I don't think I've heard a more brilliant summary. It's like doing business with the CCP is like taking heroin. If only the paymasters on Wall Street and global corporations and in the city of London and in Party of Davos could understand that. Yang, thank you very much. You're a hero, not just to the Chinese people. You're a hero to the people of the world, and particularly the citizens here in the United States of America. Greatly appreciate you coming on. We could cut that clip right there. That segment right there, that wraps. I'd like everybody in Congress to basically hear that.
Talk about connecting the dots.
We've got, do we have Miles?
Yes, we do.
Miles, we've only got a minute left in this segment, and I just want to tee up what we're going to do in coming back to you. I want to today was about Hong Kong and the fall of the CCP, but there's so much breaking news, particularly in the Three Gorges Dam. The mainstream media has finally caught up with you and now realizes this is a dilemma. Also, the New York Times is reporting that President Xi has a clean plate initiative going because of, as they quote it, a bumper crop, a bumper harvest, which you mocked and ridiculed a week ago. So we have a lot of that to get to. Miles Grow is going to be our guest. Miles, thank you for joining us, but we're going to take a short break, Miles. We're going to come back in about 2 minutes with you live. Miles Grow, also the major stories breaking. There's a story in the, I think the AP's got a big story on Miles Grow being the number one thorn in the CCP side, and that's why they're out to get him. We're going to take a short commercial break. Miles Grow is going to join us live to discuss his breaking news on the Three Gorges Dam. I think he has more shocked us yesterday. He says, hey, there's not 162 people missing. There's 86,000 people missing. The mainstream media kind of always mocks Miles when he first makes a statement. It turns out he's always right, so we'll get to that. Short commercial break. The Rule of Law Societies, Hong Kong, and the death of the CCP. Back in a moment.
Stephen K. Bannon. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Episode 348 on the podcast. It is now with over 13 million downloads, plus we're ubiquitous throughout the world. One of the reasons we're ubiquitous is G News and G Media put this up in Mandarin and blow it through the firewall and get to the VPNs and get to all the people in mainland China, which we're pulling for you. Now, only the Chinese can get their freedom, and that's the defining story of the first half of the 21st century is going to be their freedom, and we're here to assist and to help. We get great listener feedback, and particularly we get a lot of veterans, a lot of military personnel. Besides the hedge funds and the news producers, we get a lot of the deplorables that are veterans that have been throughout the world and understand what the fight for freedom is. Jack, we got a couple of great comments this morning already.
Yeah, we just finished with Alice, and one of our listeners wrote, listening to Alice reminds me what bravery looks like. These Saturday journeys keep me angry and focused to stay in action. Hoorah!
I got to tell you, that's what this is all about, and this is what's amazing is the bravery of these people, Chinese people. We said, we've had the thing on with the underground house church. We're all over the Vatican about the secret deal. Christianity and these religions, Tibetan Buddhism, they're all thriving under the boot of this dictatorship, right? And it shows you when you put the pressure on, that's when you crystallize. And you're seeing the hard diamond of freedom is being created in mainland China. And it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. They can't keep up the firewall. You can't keep people hardworking, decent, smart people like the Chinese. The 4,000 years of the emperor keeping them, their face in the mud. Miles taught me the 5 strategies. Keep them poor, keep them overworked, keep them uneducated. Just keep them down. And that's why in this Three Gorges Dam has been a story we've been on early. Guess what? Now it's front page of the Financial Times, front page of the New York Times. 7 weeks after War Room Pandemic, we're very proud of that, right? They finally catch up. They listen enough and they pitch it to the editors. They finally catch up. One of the reasons is Miles. Miles Grow said, hey, this is 6 weeks ago, comes on the show and says, this rain is a little more than usual, and they're going to have a big problem. And this problem is going to be so big. And the problem's going to be is they don't care. This is what Mao said back when he did the Great Leap Forward. Hey, if you lose 40 million people if you lose 40 million people in starvation because of it, so what? We'll have more.
That's gross negligence.
Yeah. They have never considered Lao Beijing. They've never considered the little guy in China ever.
His management of the flood is very similar to the way he managed that starvation, right? His whole theory was better to have half the people eat well and just let the other guys starve.
Exactly.
And we're watching this with the way he's trying to save Wuhan and allowing all of the peasantry within the drainage of the Yangtze River have their entire livelihoods wiped out to save these urban centers.
Well, let's go to Miles Grow now live on the vessel. Sorry, I'm not there today, Miles, doing my tan maintenance, but I love doing the show there. But now I realize I got to be in the saddle here. There's so much going on. You said yesterday, and I think that was the headline of the show, that there's not 162 people missing as the CCP says. You said there's 86,000 missing, that this flood is massive in scale. We can see from the pictures, and we can get those back up after Miles comes on. The footage we've gotten from GTV and from others is just so stunning as to be breathtaking on a flood this size. So I want to go back to the flood on the Yangtze in the Three Gorges Dam. Where do we stand? Is that dam going to hold? Are the CCP, are they being truthful to Western media? And how many people have actually died?
Hi, Sir Steve K. Bannon, everybody, Jackie. This yesterday we talked about it's recorded stand in the 40s. We are before talk. Himalaya here, Chongqing here, Three Gorges stand here. Why is last week Chongqing no raining, but they get 40? Why? Because after higher here is the have nearly 10,000 Gorges stand in the Chongqing upside. Even the 40, the more would come down, it's a broken Three Gorges stand. Then is a CCP now. Broken. Then this is why is it before this happen? They in the Chongqing side upside. They are under the nighttime. They open another dam. Put the many water go to the Chongqing the city. 9-meter waters. They kill the people. They are put a lot of water go to Chongqing. Put there. That's why two is the truth. One, Three Gorges stand nearly broken. Another side, they are deliberately unleashed the waters, kill the Chongqing people. Yesterday I told you 86,000 people died, but yesterday also another from the police, in the police work called me Miles. I see you in the Steve K. Bannon war room talk to 86 people died. This is not the truth. More than this. More than members. I said, what? It's more than 100,000. But don't forget, Third Steve, in the Chongqing this time, nobody can use a signal. Nobody can use any social media. That's why they cover all the truth. They are through all the social media. That's why they built this high technology called firewall. So now I think China is 100% is scared. So aggressive summon must be happening next year. That's why American presidency of CCP is just 2 weeks ago by law for agriculture from America. Sir, the truth, CCP no choice. They must be by agriculture and food from America. If they don't buy the agricultural food from America, CCP and China, many people die. America sells cheaper the price, give the CCP. It's half of the CCP. They not want to make your business deliver their trade deal, the contract. That's fundamentally the reason. I think CCP is a big trouble next 1 week. Even Three Gorges stand broken, 40 million, 100 million people maybe get to die and in the damage and risk. And 100% sure all the China is next 1 year is aggressive salmon. No doubt. That's why now CCP build the Three Gorges stand is for the benefit for the power station, but they are make a big bomb in give the world, give China. Also don't forget in the area have the 3 nuclear nations. This is the big danger to give the world. Not only Chinese get aggressive salmon, all the world get big trouble maybe from nuclear weapons. Then CCP nuclear. This is why CCP now still cover the truth, sir. That's big trouble. The world, America, need to know the truth. Don't get the same problem after coronavirus. You are get the virus, you don't know the truth. Now, American need to ask CCP, what is real happening in the Chongqing and the Three Gorges Dam? And even you have the broken from the Three Gorges Dam, how big, dangerous for the world, and Asia, and the neighboring country, also Japan, India, every country. That's the must be need action, sir. Thank you.
Miles, I just want to make sure that we're clear here, because you're saying that, hey, there, in the Chongqing or Chongjiang area, there weren't additional rains. That this is because of active control of the dams upriver and the way the CCP's releasing the water. That this is exacerbating the natural flooding that's going on, and this is either through their incompetence or malfeasance. I'd like you to, but is that the point? The point is that their management of the dam system is now causing worse flooding to go on?
Sir, CCP never have maintained the country. They only control the country. Okay? They are the kidnap of the country. They never have good maintain. You look at China, in China, any highway, airport, big project, they always is the quality, safety the problem. Why? CCP is corruption. The only one power, one region, and control full media. Nobody can talk the truth. So this is why CCP, everything is the power from the kidnap and the corruption. And it's blowing your eye. This is why they need to build the cyber firewall. That's why China is no quality. No, you look at all the world, only America like made in China everything because they like cheaper. In Europe, even Chinese don't like made in China any product. Why? Chinese make the product no quality. Also, the airport, Three Gorges Dam, 10,000 dam, water dam, no quality. That's why I'm so worried. Three Gorges Dam must be someday, sometime. I hope not. It must be the big dangerous as it kill many Chinese. Day one, I know this is ridiculous. It's Three Gorges Dam. They want Chairman Mao, CCP, we fight God, we fight natural. We like a war. Every is power from violate, from the guns. Now they fight God, they fight nature, they fight the people. They want to control the world. They think they can kidnap Chinese. They also can kidnap the world. That's why they make biological weapon, coronavirus, send to world, kill how many people? Any other people die. Now 20 million people get infected. I think they under the year. More the worse. That's why CCP, the philosophy, they just violate and guns, kill, kidnap, cover truth. This is all the solution. They never have to maintain, never have really seriously manager anything. They just have control. This is why in America, legal warfare and the information warfare and it's the intelligence warfare, economy warfare. Why? They want the control. They don't want the manager. That's CCP. That is totally evil. Even the world no wake up, sir, no war room, no GTV, no G News. How do you think the world go to disaster? Nobody tell the truth. Now you look at the water, you look at the video. No America call thoroughly media talk about the truth. But not only China trouble, there's a world trouble. Same with the coronavirus. They must be coming your country, coming you home. Same thing. Because the fundamental reason, American Wall Street, technical company, help CCP, kidnap China, make the trouble, build a cyber firewall. That's Wall Street, American media, American technical company, make the big trouble in the world in China. That's the truth. We need American, all the world people know the truth, how can solve it. Find out the truth, take down the CCP, give the world peace, stop American people to die. We need the truth, sir. We need action, action, action.
Miles, we're going to take a short break, very dramatic. We're going to take a short break. We're going to return with Miles Guo in our next and last segment. We're getting him live from his boat. Take a short commercial break. The Hong Kong and the destruction of the CCP. Miles Guo give us an update saying that, hey, there's not 86,000. He's hearing from police that it could be more than 100,000 already missing and dead on the Yangtze River. We're going to return in a moment with War Room Pandemic.
War Room with Stephen K. Bannon. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Welcome back to the War Room. Another special here, Hong Kong and the fall of the CCP. But we focused on so much of the virus, the war of the CCP against the world. We had Mark Simon at the beginning, very dramatic about Jimmy Light and his partners. I want to go back to Miles Guo though, because we've got so much listener response. Miles, people want to know. You just said in the last segment that if Three Gorges goes, or if it's impaired, or if the water keeps coming over, you believe 40 million to 100 million people won't be affected. There'll be, hundreds of millions, but you think 40 million to 100 million people could actually end up dying or be displaced. You don't hear that from the Chinese Communist Party. In addition, what's most shocking when I see all this footage that's coming up on GTV and G News, or I see the footage even on BBC, I don't see a lot of army people. I don't see a lot of the PLA. I just don't see a lot of people working to make things better. Now, maybe that's happening and we're not getting that on this footage that's coming in because of the restrictions. But I think the question people have is, what exactly is the government doing to assist people to even relocate, get out of the way, take care of the sides of the river? We know they sent work parties out of people, not of the PLA, 4 weeks ago. The levees. What exactly is happening? What's the CCP? What action are they taking? And if they're not taking any action, why are they not taking action?
Thank you, sir. You need to know it's the China PLA, the army. They call People Army, but they have another announce every day in the CCTV. Say, Army People Army just listen to party, work in party. So China have a party army, never have country army, national army. So this is the China all the army only work with CCP and some family. They don't work with the people. That's the every day in the CCP way. Every day it's the Xi Jinping, Wang Qishan talk. Every meeting say correct. Army only listen to Communist Party. The army is the 100% is the work with the PLA and the CCP. So you look at all the China last 70 years. What time have China natural disaster? You can see the PLA is there. They just take a video and take the camera. They immediately gone. They never try help is the poor people. That's one. Secondly, sir, you need to know they don't really seriously think this is how many people die. 100 million people die. CCP happy. CCP have philosophy. All the natural disaster can make a CCP more big power because they can save money, save food. That's all the philosophy. They don't think a natural disaster is them trouble. It's CCP think this is opportunity. Can more control propaganda, put the people together, just focus the people die. It's a natural disaster, not the CCP party control, but that's the nature, that's the God. Then CCP is, I can help you. Then you need to listen to me. This is all the CCP philosophy. You disaster, you trouble, is my opportunity. This is every time the same thing. Thank you, sir.
Okay, last question, Miles. We've run out of time here. We've got a couple of minutes left. The Associated Press is reporting today out of Beijing, their lead story, that Miles Guo is the number one thorn in the side of the Chinese Communist Party. Number one. Throughout the whole world, that he is a problem. And this is the Associated Press. We know that the Wall Street Journal and others right now are working on a story of this huge explosive police investigation or criminal indictment of Nikki Lum Davis, a very prominent Hawaiian known as a fundraiser here in the United States. But big part of that investigation and the indictment is specifically related to you and to moves by people in China and other governments paying people, citizens of the United States, people inside the Justice Department, I think Higginbotham, working with these people to pay money to get you extradited. I know the stories haven't come out, and I'm sure you're going to be quoted, but we'd just like your first response. First on the AP story that says you're the number one thorn in the side on a global basis to the Chinese Communist Party and their efforts to extradite you and pay American citizens to get you extradited back to China.
Thank you, sir. That's the about my 3 years out whistleblower. I think number one, I really appreciate inside whistleblower it follows. They are the big hero. Number two, I want to really appreciate Stephen K. Bannon. Yours number two. Number three is War Room America found General Spalding, Pompeo, Peter Navarro, Tom Cotton, all the Rubio, this is the American friends, and Bill Gates is a big help. U.S. is important. I'm not important. But the whistleblower movement, new federal states, must be CCP number one together fair. They are enemy. They know we take down CCP is for sure. We can do. We definitely can do. Then it's the DOJ the story. That's the effect. The document show all the America. CCP how big a power in America. They have make legal warfare, can take down Trump, can take down Stephen K. Bannon, can take down everybody. But that's big power. Yeah, this is why we need now CCP in your home, in your bedroom, not too far away, not in China, not in Beijing. Miles Good true story show you CCP have the plan where America make American to die. That's so important. The good evidence. I hope American really everybody seriously think that DOJ about the last 3 years what has happened. They buy all the America, sir. Thank you.
Miles, I want to thank you. For coming on the show, and particularly you're so humble to talk about the whistleblower movement, the new federal state. I want to thank all the new federal state people outside the courthouse the other day for my walk when I came back out there at the Blue Flags. I want to thank you. The Associated Press is reporting today from Beijing the number one problem the CCP has on a global basis, the thorn in their side. They didn't mention any governments. They mentioned Miles Guo. He's the number one thorn. And also today, breaking, there's a massive story about the CCP paying governments and individuals in the United States of America to make sure that Miles Guo is less of a thorn in the side, so they getting back to mainland China. This is War Room Pandemic. We've got so much breaking news on Monday, a massive show. When everybody is tuned in, we're going to be breaking all kind of news on Monday. I want to thank the audience over the weekend. If you didn't get it, if you didn't get a chance, your friends didn't, make sure they go to the podcast. It'll be up a little later today. Over 13 million downloads on the podcast. War Room Pandemic. I want to thank Miles Guo, Mark Simon, the entire team here. We'll see you Monday at 10 a.m.